On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan goes on a raid and Tony gets his wings. We then have a discussion about the games we played this year that we thought were the best games of the year. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I got Ethan.
Hey.
What's going on, sir?
Nothing.
I've got a football game going on the TV over here a little bit. Well, it's supposed to be a football game. It's not really much of a football game.
It's kind of a one-sided game or domination, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not really that surprised, so I should probably just turn it off.
Yep. Yeah, that might be a great idea.
We have games to talk about anyway.
Yeah, real games,
So, not football games.
And don't get me wrong, football is a real game. I played in high school and stuff, so.
I played an instrument at football games in high school.
I sat next to band people for another school in college.
Hey.
Instead of, because I wasn't playing football.
I was
in
a
high
band
school.
person in high school.
That's cool. What'd you play?
So, I played clarinet
Awesome.
for parts of it, and then during football season, I played the bass drum.
Nice.
So, yeah, I was the smallest guy on the drum line, and they gave me the biggest drum.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
It's a good movie.
Really?
You should go watch it. Yeah.
Does it
If nothing else, just for the music.
It better be good music then.
It's got some good drum line music in there.
On a scale of Sonic 06 to Bohemian Rhapsody, where does the music rank?
I mean, that's a pretty big spectrum.
I don't know. Sonic 06 had some decent music.
I actually don't know what the music from Sonic
It's
06
like
is
the worse the
so.
Sonic game is, the better the music is.
There's probably a chart out there that shows that. So
There probably is.
Shannon is not with us this week. We had alluded to it last week. If he disappeared,
It's because he
because
has a breadbasket.
yes, he and Lauren had their baby this week. Callie Marie, she is with us. Everybody
she's on the
is
show.
doing fine.
What? How?
Not with us here.
Is she the squid or the kid?
Could be either, really.
He he sent a picture of her with an inkling, a squid inkling. So her namesake, I had to make the joke.
Exactly. So, yes, mom, baby, and dad are all doing well, but he is off this week, hanging out with the new baby. So,
Good for him.
congratulations to the Reifenbergs.
Indeed.
But we, Ethan, have a lot of games to talk about this week because there's no news, so we're going to skip that section of the show. We're going to talk about some games we've been playing here, and then we're going to talk about our favorite games of the year. So
Ooh.
that should be interesting. I'm very curious to see what games you have on your list this year.
Well, spoiler for the listeners, you can see it on on the screen.
I can see it on the screen, but I'm trying to build a little suspense. So, what game have you been playing this week that you want to talk about?
I played Destiny 2.
I don't believe it.
I think I played every week.
Probably.
There was a new raid. I don't know what it's called. I didn't bother to look into anything. Caleb was like, "Hey, get in here and do this." I said, "Okay." And this was all today, as of recording. So, dragged into a new location. I don't know what I'm doing. having to be told what to do, where to go.
So had he
And
done some of this stuff already before?
he did some of it earlier today.
Okay.
But we're in some sort of cityscape on there, and you have your four directions: north, east, south, and west, and each corner has something that you need to deposit stuff into. There's this new enemy type. They throw up this weird uh, field around them that takes away your super if you're. It makes it where your super can't be activated,
Yeah.
and they can't be damaged unless you destroy the thing on their back. So that's the thing, and they're also invisible until you get within attack distance of them or something. It's really weird. That's just the first section we did. It took us a lot of tries. I was doing horrible at it.
Yeah.
Then we got to the next section on there. It's Sparrow Racing.
Nice.
Caleb didn't
Who?
know I was like a savant or something at Sparrow Racing.
Well, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's great because it's not that we're racing; it's that we're not racing each other. We're racing to survive against the giant flaming servitor ball just chasing after us all,
Nice. Very
and
nice.
we were fighting to uh, stay on track. And like Stewart's pushing me off the track almost every time until I caught on that I need to hold back because he's not going to hold back.
Yeah.
But we also had to hit all these switches on the track to get the secret track to open up so we could go and get the bonus item. And I ended up being the one to get it for us after everyone. Uh, it was a team effort to get all the switches. I'm just the one who was like best at being able to get out there and be out front and keep momentum going and stuff.
Yeah. You're really good at driving those sparrows.
Yeah, I'm kind of starting to miss Sparrow Racing from Destiny One, but I mean I was first place almost every race I did on there.
Maybe
It,
they'll
it,
bring it back again.
it's one of those where if I didn't get first, I just kind of got really mad.
So it's like Mario Kart.
No, I don't get mad at Mario Kart if I'm not first.
Mm.
I'd
No,
say
because you.
I'd say it's more like Talladega Nights. If you ain't first, you're last.
It's true. I mean, to be fair, the point of a race is to win, and if you don't win, you lose.
Very true. Although in this case, we all won as long as one of us survived.
You're on a team.
Yeah. I don't know what the normal track ending thing was. I don't know if it was like I go over to this one side and go down a hole or something.
Mhm.
But the secret track is it says a door opens and you go this left path and you have to hit a certain ramp to go up. There's weird. It's hard to stay on this little track. I don't know what it is because I didn't get much practice at it before I saw it.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to stay on there, and then you get to the end of the track, and you see this thing off to the left. You have to jump off your Sparrow and land on it,
Oh
and
my.
then you have to climb up a vertical shaft and jump into a hole in the wall. But the track goes over the hole, so you don't know if it's the hole down underneath or you just keep going up. So I'm having this dumb moment just standing there, and Caleb finally shouts, "Go in the hole down there." It's like, oh, okay. And you can see the screen starting to like get a little redder, and my character might have been starting to burn or something from the fire increasing.
Hmm.
It was very nerve wracking in a lot of cases.
So, how many hours have you put into Destiny 2 now?
Oh man,
I imagine it's a lot.
there is actually a website called Time Wasted on Destiny, I believe. I'm checking right now. Oh, it's wastedondestiny.com. And you just put in your gamer tag like I am doing right now, live on the show. While it loads, I
Yeah, I should have asked you
installing
this earlier.
PlayStation. Right now, I have. Oh no, give me the PlayStation back. Oh gosh, what do you think I have more time in? Destiny 1 or Destiny 2?
I
1 or
would
2?
say probably one.
Destiny 1, I have 520 hours and 2 minutes.
Wow.
I'm in the top 55% of people playing.
Uh huh.
Destiny 2, 496 hours, 19 minutes. I'm in the top
Wow,
23%.
that's crazy. You almost 1,000 hours of Destiny.
Over 1,000. Wow. Somehow I have 28 hours and 16 minutes on PC and 27 minutes on Destiny 2 Xbox.
Hey, that
Man,
Xbox time, that just put you over the top.
right? That's in the top 100% on Xbox.
You are in the percentage of people that have played Destiny.
Everyone's played for at least half an hour, apparently.
Exactly.
Other than that, just been grinding out gear, doing the new Forge stuff for Season of the Forge or whatever it's called. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
And normally I would say I'm done talking Destiny right there because there really isn't much more on the game. But my little sister gave me a Destiny 2 Mega Constructs kit for Christmas.
I saw the picture of this. This looked really cool.
Mega Constructs is the not
Yeah, they're not
Legos,
Legos. Yeah.
and she got me a Fallen Walker. It's a spider tank looking thing. Took me about 6 hours to build. It's got a awesome little thing. Whenever you damage them in the game, it opens up to cool down or something on the head,
Hmm.
and so I can open that up and touch the block inside there, and it starts glowing and stuff. It's pretty neat.
So how big is this thing? I wasn't able to really tell from the picture.
Oh man, how do I describe that? It is about as big as you
Like,
know
are we
what?
talking small dog size?
If you have one of those little toy chihuahuas, it's probably about as big as one of those. It probably
Okay.
weighs about as much, if not more.
It's really cool though. It's a neat looking model.
Yeah, it also opens up where I can put the shank in there that it comes with. It's a little flying shooting robot. Came with a captain, a fallen captain, or a Kell. I'm not sure which one it is really. And then a hunter using the Galahorn weapon, which is so it's all Destiny 1, so that's pretty cool. And in the picture, I ended up putting a Spartan on there, and no one noticed until I mentioned it. Because a couple of years ago, she got me a couple of Halo Mega Constructs that are fairly old, and so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We'll see if anyone noticed.
Nope. Apparently not. None of us play Destiny enough to know the difference between Destiny and Halo.
Well, I sent a call figuring he would know and or notice, and he didn't even catch on because the Spartan and the Titan are so similar in design.
Hmm.
But I will stop talking Destiny now so we can talk about the thing that you've been playing.
Okay. I've been playing not Destiny.
Ooh, this sounds intriguing.
It is. I've played it before, though, to be fair, for a
Oh,
number of weeks now.
awesome.
So it's just Destiny, but it's on the Switch.
Destiny on the Switch.
Yes. It's called Warframe.
That is free to play Destiny.
It is free to play Destiny. Have you heard of this?
I believe so.
Yeah. Made some significant progress in some of the missions this week. So I think a couple weeks ago, I started the mission where you try to get all of the stuff you need to get a Kubro.
Oh yeah, the pet dog.
Yeah, and I had talked about, I think I talked about this on the show, that it was going to be a while before I got the parts that I needed to build the incubator to get the Kubro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did a different mission. I was playing with some people online, and I think what happened was I opened up the Mars junction, so I can go to Mars now.
Okay, that's a step
And,
forward.
and when I did that, I got an incubator core in that mission.
That is like a low drop rate.
So and that was the last thing I needed to get the incubator going to get the Kubro. So I did that
Hmm.
and incubated that egg. It took, I think, 2 days, if I
Right.
remember correctly.
Because dogs
And got
hatch from eggs.
exactly. So I got the baby Kubro. Saw him. He was running around my ship. He was adorable too. Um,
And then it grows up.
and I went to try to take it on a mission with me, and it said, "You need to mature this thing before you can take it on a mission with you." So I went back to the incubator
Shoved
and
him back in. Got it.
put him back in the incubator and said, "Hurry up." And I actually paid a little bit of platinum to speed the process up just because I wanted to get that thing done and over with.
Yeah, and you start
Uh,
with like 50 of it, so that's free money right there.
yeah. And I got him to where he's now he's grown. So he's not as adorable anymore. He's big and not really that cute. Kubros aren't really that cute. Um, so then I thought, okay, well now I can take him on a mission. Went to the
Nope.
thing to try to equip him, and it said, "You need a collar now
It,
before you can take this thing on a mission with you." And
there's
I said,
so many steps just stopping you along the way.
"Great.
It's great.
How do I get a collar for this thing so that I can take it on a mission with me?" I thought I could just look it up online, but I didn't do it. I was like, fine, whatever. I'll get to that when I get to that. And went to do the mission where you get your Arcwing.
Yes,
And I think it's like a 4 mission set to complete that quest.
indeed.
Finished all 4 of those parts. I now have my wings, and that changes the way this game plays, and it is awesome.
I still
Like
suffer trying to play through that because the Arcwing missions are not very forgiving.
I played that. I've only played the first mission where you actually get the where you actually have the Arcwing on your back.
Very, very simple to do the first one, yes.
The first mission it was really easy. I mean, it's just flying through a debris field and getting used to the way the thing moves. Um, and the only thing I sort of have an issue with is that it's really hard to stop once you get going, which I guess makes sense because you are in space.
In space has no friction.
There's no friction to slow you down, no air resistance, nothing like that. So, um, I had a blast though. I was like, I want to play more of these Arcwing missions and do this because this was fun.
And your Arcwings, you have like more stuff to equip and change up as well. So that's like a whole new layer has been thrown into the game with you now.
Yeah, because it's like you can change the way this thing looks. There's other accessories that you can put on it, all kinds of stuff that you'll be able to do eventually. And I'm assuming I'll have to get the blueprints and things for those bits so that I can customize the Arcwing and do some of that crazy stuff.
Yep.
Um, but as soon as I finish the mission to get the Arcwing, I get back on the ship, and the lady whose name I can never remember says,
Yeah.
"Hey, we got some information about a collar. You want to go do this?" And I said, "Yes." So I went and did the mission. There's a mission there where you go in and you drop into, I think it's on Earth. You drop onto Earth, and your Kubro is there waiting for you, and you have to defend your Kubro against, I think, 6 waves of enemies. And he's down there, he's helping you, he's fighting. And it was crazy to watch him fight. Uh, he's almost as strong as I am. It looked like in some spots taking down those enemies. Um,
They're really interesting to use, yeah.
yeah, but I got done. I was like, I don't know if I want to use him because I've gotten so used to having that little thing that floats over my head and is shooting enemies while I'm
Yeah, that's
playing.
the downside. It takes away your little partner,
I
and
was like, which one do I want? Do I want the Kubro? Do I want the little floating, uh, you know, thing that?
I think mine was the worm. It looked kind of like a little dragon or something. It's pretty neat.
And mine's just like this X-shaped little thing that
A little
floats over
flying
my head.
robot thing with a
But
tiny
I've
pilot inside.
I've got it set with like this heat beam that turns enemy fighters into ash. Um, but really, what I use it as is a way to tell me where enemies are that I can't see, because it'll shoot at things even if I'm not looking at them.
Whereas the Kubro, he would run off to attack something, so then you're looking to see where your Kubro is.
Yeah, but with this thing, I can see exactly where the heat beam is being fired at, so I can see enemies that are trying to hide from me, and that's really handy. So I don't know if I want to use the Kubro now that I've got it.
That's kind of the same exact dilemma I ran into. And I
Yeah.
ended up just putting the Kubro back into the incubator and left him there.
See, that's kind of what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave him on the ship and be like, okay, you have fun while I'm down doing what I need to do on the planet. Because you might be helpful and all, but you don't have a heat beam.
Not yet, anyway.
If you had a heat beam on your back, I might be a little more interested in using you. Um, so I've been playing a ton of Warframe, but I think I've also hit the point where I'm running into a lot of missions where I'm having trouble playing by myself.
I believe it.
So I don't know if it's because if I'm under leveled a little bit for the place that I'm at, and I should be going off and trying to raise my stats on some of my stuff, or if that's just the way the game is designed to where, for the first 25 hours that you play, you can play most of it by yourself, but then you start to get where you need to have squads with you.
Squads make the game interesting.
Well, I've found that squads make the game super simple.
When they work with you, yes.
Well, yeah. Um, Most of the people that I've run into, if I've played just randomly online, have been pretty good. There have been a couple where they don't really pay attention to what the mission objectives are. They just kind of go off and they do their own thing. Um, but for the most part, I've had a pretty good group of people. I haven't found anybody that I play with for a long period of time, though, so I haven't had a chance to build up sort of a regular squad to play with.
Oh no.
So, but I played a bunch of that. I played a little bit of Starlink this week. Not enough to really talk about it, though. I'll talk about that probably next week.
I am interested in hearing how that game plays since I've never played it.
So far, what I've played is really good. I'll talk about it a little bit more next week, though. I'll put some time into it this week so I can really go over what the game is. Because I haven't gotten into the meat of the game. I've basically just done a couple missions, one in space, a couple on the planet. The controls feel really good. I bought a bunch of the DLC. The one thing I do like about the game is that it's a toys to life game, but you don't have to have the toys to play.
Right.
You can buy everything, any of the toys that you could buy, the pieces for the ships, the different pilots, the ships themselves, any of that stuff, you can just buy it as DLC in the game itself. And if you're playing like that, you just go into a menu, you swap out the parts that you want, you swap out the ships. You can hot swap any of that stuff from this menu. So you can change your pilot on the fly, you can change your ship on the fly, you can change your parts, all from just a pause menu without having to have the toys, and that's really nice.
Cool.
So we'll talk about that a little bit next week. But right now, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and then you and I will go over our top 5 games of the year, um, and see what games we thought were the best of 2018. All right, Ethan. So, top games of 2018. I think it was a pretty good year for games this year. I played a lot of different genres and some games that maybe I wouldn't have given a chance. I turned around and gave a chance this year, and maybe some of them have ended up in my top 5.
Really? So that's interesting. I was going
Actually,
to say something, but I will save it.
most of my top 5 will probably be pretty guessable, but we'll see. So what we'll do is we'll just go back and forth. We wanted to just do our top five in interest of time, because if the podcast starts to get too long, we sort of lose the ability to put it on the site properly. So we're going to go over our top five here on the show, and then we'll each post our top 10 list so people can see the full top 10 games that we thought were the best of the year.
You can be
Um,
honest, Tony. You can tell I'm too lazy to get footage for each game.
well, no, that's not. I mean, I'm not
It's
going to
part
say
of it.
that. I'm not going to say that. So what we'll do is we'll just go from five to one, and we'll just go back and forth, taking turns with the games in our top five list. So you want to start us off? What was your number five game of the year?
Number 5 was Pokemon Let's Go.
Really? Which version?
I got Eevee, but
Okay.
they're essentially the same games,
Yeah.
just minor
It's
differences.
just which Pokemon you start with, and then some small differences, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something similar to like Red and Blue, where well, not similar, but like Red and Blue had different Pokemon, but this one's like you're starting with a different Pokemon that's your partner the whole time.
Hmm.
And Eevee is absolutely adorable.
That's true. But I think I would go with Pikachu. I still haven't picked up the game yet. It's on my list of games to play, but I just haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah, I still need to finish it. I don't know. I think I'm about halfway through it, if not a little more. But
Are you
that's
gonna Are you gonna catch them all?
since there's only like 152 in there. Yeah,
Okay.
I can do it. It's not impossible this time, especially with how generous they are with the Pokeballs on there.
Yeah, they give them away like candy, don't they?
Yeah, it's like you do a fight and it's raining them. You're just hoping you have enough space in your bag to hold them all.
Yeah. Well, it is the game does get rid of a lot of those battles, and it's just like here, throw Pokeballs at Pokemon till you catch them.
That's actually like the best way to level up is just stand there and catch Pokemon all day.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, because you do get experience just after catching Pokemon, don't you?
you get a lot more experience from that rather than going and doing trainer battles,
Okay.
which I made the mistake of until I got to third, maybe, yeah, about the third gym. I was like, I'm not keeping up with this very well. I need to do something. And I ended up doing some farming to try to increase my chance of getting a shiny, and it never happened, but I got a ton of experience. It was neat.
No. Do you have? Does it let you pick your like crew of six Pokemon that you carry around with you all the time?
Yeah, it still keeps the basics in there.
Okay.
And you can
Oh.
even decide which one's going to follow you while your main partner rides on your head.
Yeah. Pikachu will always be with you, and you'll always see Pikachu or Eevee, whichever one you're using, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
And
who are your six that you're running around with right now?
of course, I'm rocking Eevee because Eevee, and I think I'm using an Ivysaur. I think Ivysaur is what I had. I'm working on getting all three of the starters. I have not gotten a Charmander just yet, but that's kind of what I'm working towards is getting all the starters in my party, and then
Hmm.
from there it's just kind of mix and match what I need as I go through there. I think I have a Pikachu in there just for electric abilities and such.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly not sure what my party is at the moment, other than what I've mentioned.
Okay. All right. Let's see. My number five.
What's it gonna be?
My number five. Valkyria Chronicles 4. Like
I'm
I,
counting your list to make sure it's number 5.
I had to count again real quick because I don't have numbers next to mine like you do in the show notes. So uh, I had to go through the list real quick there and say, yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4. I thought that was a really good sort of return for the series after the not so good Valkyria, whatever it was with swords.
Oh yeah, that weird.
Um, the spinoff.
Yeah,
game. PS4. The game takes place during the events of the first Valkyria Chronicles. You're just playing as another squad this time around. Um,
Okay.
and I really like the the action in that game. I like it's a turn-based game, but you get the chance to feel like you're playing a shooter. And I really like that sort of combination of gameplay styles where you get to move around uh, the entire field as you want, but then you have time to decide where you're going to shoot and how you're going to shoot and what weapon you're going to use. So it was a really nice strategy game.
Still sounds like whenever I played the first game, it's something you're not used to seeing on there, and the first time you experience, it's like this is amazing,
Hmm.
and it's kind of intimidating at the same time.
It can be, and I just absolutely love that visual style.
Yeah, that
Like that,
it's kind of like what a
it,
uh, art style.
it's watercolor in motion
Yeah,
is what I like to call it.
yeah,
Everything is sort of pale, a little pastel to it. It looks like you can see brushstrokes in the visuals themselves. It's a really pretty game. So Valkyria Chronicles 4 would be my number five.
kind of wish they'd give us the ones we haven't gotten over here.
Yeah, Valkyria Chronicles, the first one is available now on Switch. I think it's $20.
It's also available on PS3, PS4, and Steam, and I don't know if it's on Xbox One or not.
Yeah. And it is the remastered version. So
Indeed.
um, if you're interested in that series and you don't necessarily want to pay full price for it, check that game out because they're very similar. Um, there's a few like unit types in the first game that aren't available that become available in Valkyria Chronicles 4. I do wish they do remasters of 2 and 3.
Man, a console version of 2 fully realized would be fantastic.
Yeah, both of those were PSP exclusive.
Yeah, and I think 3 stayed in Japan, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
2 on PSP, that's right.
yeah. I don't
Uh,
think we got 3 at all here.
yeah, and people were not really happy with how 2 was like a PSP only game or something. I think it was digital only over here is the issue.
Wow.
I think. I can't confirm right now. I mean, I
Yeah.
could, but I'm not going to.
All right. Well, what's your number 4?
Destiny 2, Forsaken.
Okay.
So, specifically the Forsaken DLC that came out.
Yeah. I'll count it. I mean, Destiny 2 didn't come out this year, but that Forsaken DLC, which is a pretty expansive DLC.
Yes, it ended up adding 2 whole new areas, 3 new uh, class abilities or something that where it's like a whole new effect on there that we're getting,
Hmm.
or not a whole new effect, but like a whole new tree in your skill sets. Um, there's still story going on with this that's coming out probably every 3 weeks or so, give or take a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And just the 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 new well, we've already gotten one new raid, and then there's another the one I was playing like I talked earlier. There was another new raid already, which is part of the mini DLC that you can pay for separately, but it's still part of the Forsaken expansion because it's like the Forsaken, and then you have your 3 little mini expansions from that.
Yeah.
But it was like an entire overhaul of the game. The weapon mechanics were reworked, made it closer to Destiny 1. Uh, whole new set of enemies, Scorn, uh, which are like zombie fallen creatures.
Hmm.
And then um, the unfortunate loss of Cade 6.
No.
Spoiler.
I think
Who
people know at this point.
who was not voiced by Nathan Fillion this time, but Nolan North, who did an excellent job. Was it Nolan North?
I think so.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. Like you can kind of tell if you're listening for it, but if you just go with the flow, it's almost natural. Like it's like I've heard Kate Six enough where I'm gonna accept the change in voice.
Yeah. Okay.
But I will not bore you with more Destiny talk at this point.
All right. Well, let's see. My number 4 would be Ease 8.
Oh gosh, I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, don't look at your list. I didn't put
No,
Destiny
I was
2
looking
on
at
mine.
the wrong one on your list.
Oh, yeah. It would be Ease 8, which was a great, great RPG, action RPG. So uh, don't have to worry about messing with menus to fight things or anything like that. You just get a good, solid action RPG with some interesting mechanics as far as the fighting and things go.
And the
The
music in
story,
the series is amazing as
the
well.
music is fantastic. There is no doubt
There's
about it.
like a whole bunch of rock in there too, and
Yeah, there is.
gosh, it's so great.
It felt a little bit Monster Hunter at times too, because the bosses in that game are just huge,
Nice.
and it's huge monsters. So like the very first boss you come up against is a giant T Rex, and it felt like I was playing a Monster Hunter game at times. So some interesting stuff with like building a community because the premise of the game is that you're abandoned on an island. There's a kraken attack against a ship that you're on at the beginning of the game. You get washed up onto this island, and you meet a bunch of other survivors of that shipwreck, and you have to explore the island while you're also trying to get the supplies to get off of the island. And
Sounds like an adventure waiting to happen.
it goes back and forth in time between a couple different time periods where you play as a couple of different characters as well, and they play very differently from each other. So it breaks up that what could be monotony for a game that lasts 60, 70, 80 hours,
Hmm.
and gives you a chance to mix things up a little bit. And it is a fantastic game with some amazing music. So that would be my number 4. Let's move on though to your number 3. What do you have?
I have Monster Hunter World.
One of those games that I am so disappointed that I haven't played yet.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you didn't go out and get this at some point randomly.
I know. It's
I know it's not a Switch or Nintendo or Switch or 3DS version of Monster Hunter, and that is actually a really good thing because there's so much freedom involved in the gameplay on this one.
Yeah, it would be really hard to put this game on Switch.
You no longer have the limitations of going from zone to zone in the area you're at. It's all one big zone. You can explore freely. The monster will run from area to area. You can see paths and go there,
Hmm.
but you can stop midway through, collect stuff, hunt down little monsters while you're there. You no longer have the randomized small fries where you can see them on one screen in one place and a different place on another screen with
Yeah,
friends. They're all they're all connected through the same game now. They're all unified to be where they're at.
it feels like you're all at this point in the same world playing the same game and not sort of playing the same game at the same time.
Right, where only the big monster was all you had to worry about originally
Yeah,
to fight. Uh, the addition of the the arm attachment with the grappling and the net capturing ability stuff, that's great. Uh, the tracking on there, it's no longer the paintball stuff, but that's perfectly fine because you might not have your map at all times, I guess.
yeah,
Well, I guess you do. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Uh, because you have your little fireflies or something.
mm,
the scout flies. There we go. And they will turn colors, track stuff for you. It's extremely different and helpful and great.
Yeah, playing through the demo, this was one of those games where it felt like you were actually hunting the monsters this time around instead of just sort of running around from zone to zone or, knowing which zone the monster is already in and just going there. This one, it felt like, you were looking for things in the environment to try to
Yeah,
find the monster this time.
yeah. Find a footprint. Just you investigate it, then you have to follow the trail a little bit, level up how much information you have on that monster, and then by end game, you pretty much know instantly where that monster is going to be because your scout flies can tell you. So it's
Hmm.
just like, all right, they're going this way. Let's go. I've hunted 50 million of these. I know now. And some of the fights on there are just colossal in scale compared to the previous ones. There's still a fight where you do it like on the back of a giant beast and fight other stuff on there. That's really neat.
Yeah.
And getting to just explore this whole new location where it's no longer old stuff. It's all original. Not it's. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely one I'm going to have to pick up and play at some time. But it's just things just haven't worked out and I haven't been able to grab it yet.
Maybe
So,
around the time the new DLC is coming out next year or this year, depending on when you hear this episode.
and I know there's Assassin's Creed stuff too, so
Yes.
I've got to play this game. Assassin's Creed and Monster Hunter together in the same game.
Yeah, usually that stuff they do is limited to certain times of the year after the initial event is over, and you just kind of hope it shows up again. So like if you wanted to get the Mega Man or the Horizon Zero Dawn stuff, you kind of just have to wait till like the quarter of the year is up for the special
Yeah.
events to get that. Anyway, what is your number three game, Tony?
My number three game is a franchise I am very familiar with. And that is Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Warriors came out, I think it was earlier this year, and I played the heck out of that game.
Remind me, that is
That is
the.
the Dynasty Warriors Fire Emblem crossover.
Okay, that's what I was thinking it was. I had to make sure it wasn't one of the smartphone games.
So no, that's Heroes. So Fire Emblem Heroes is uh, the mobile game, which actually they brought out another big expansion for that earlier this year as well.
Wow.
Um, that game is doing really well on mobile, uh, and well worth it because it is a fantastic game. But I love Warriors games first of all. I love Fire Emblem.
You do love the Muso series. Got it.
I do. And after Hyrule Warriors, I said the next thing they needed to do was Fire Emblem, and
That was on recording, I believe. So
they
yeah.
must have listened because the next thing we got was Fire Emblem Warriors, and it does a fantastic job of blending those two series together. You get the things about Fire Emblem that make it fun. I mean, aside from just the turn-based strategy stuff, you get the weapon triangle, you get all of the different heroes, and it does the same sort of thing as Hyrule Warriors, where it just brings everybody from every possible thing. Just dimensional rifts is the easiest way to bring all of those characters together, and they're like, it does that, and it brings characters from just about every Fire Emblem game you can think of and puts them in the same game.
Sounds
Um,
like a dream game waiting to be made, or, well, to be played.
it was fantastic, and I played through the whole thing with my daughter, um, and we loved every minute of it. It is a great game. I don't know what I would want to be next. I mean, they've done Zelda, they've done Fire Emblem, they've done Dragon Quest. So
They've done Gundam.
my three top franchises for crossover for this series have already been done. I don't know what you would do next.
Mario?
I don't know how that would work.
Very carefully.
So, uh, but yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors is a great game, and that is my number three. But It's time for number two. What is your number two game of the year?
Marvel's Spider-Man.
This game looks amazing.
It was great. It was amazing. It was stupendous, superior. Whatever the other Spider,
Incredible.
whatever the other Spider-Man comic names have been throughout the years.
I mean, the water could be better, but
The puddles.
that's true.
I'm,
Puddles could be better.
it's great whenever the dev takes a tongue-in-cheek joke and puts puddles as a phone app in the game. So you take a selfie, you can add photos now.
No.
There's the puddles you wanted, people.
The game looks fantastic. Like it has from the moment they first showed it off.
Yeah, and it's only improved since they showed it off. There was no downscale. Ah, man. Uh, the gameplay on there is great. The swinging feels really good on there. So traversing across New York is amazing. Just swinging from building to building. The accuracy on the map is pretty well done as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not going to be 100% accurate because there is some changes here and there because this is the Marvel world, not the real world, of course.
Hmm.
So you're going to see, like, Fisk Tower building or whatever the building is, the Avengers Tower, the Stark building, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can also find the Ghostbusters Firehouse,
There you go.
which is I went out of my way to find that. And there's a lot of other landscapes or landmarks in there to find, but that was just a little bonus thing I found. But playing as Peter Parker, well, you don't really play as him. Like, you do on occasion, just in small bits. But you're Spider-Man. You can go and unlock tons of suits, fight bad guys. There's so much the game does. I don't
And
want
the,
to talk too much about it because I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
and the devs have done a good job of continuing to add to that sort of post game content with new costumes for them. I mean, they already had a ton in there, but they've added more since the game has come out.
Yeah, I think the final DLC came out last week, honestly. And after that, they went and did a small patch to add in the Sam Raimi,
Hmm.
uh, oh, what's his name? Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire suit.
Yeah, his Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are getting almost every spider suit imaginable in there. It's a costume party of a game, really.
So, all right. So
What
I guess
is?
my number two, going back, we're gonna get another RPG on the list, and my number two is Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD. Like, I would be perfectly okay if Square Enix said, from now on, every game we release like this in the Final Fantasy series, I'm not going to say Dragon Quest because I'll play all the regular Dragon Quest games. Any of their RPGs like this, if they want to do a Pocket Edition and make this kind of game available, I think this is the perfect way to do those types of games, or give people the option to do those kinds of games.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on making not really a spin-off, but a retelling for
It's
a
like
different audience.
exactly a retelling of the Final Fantasy 15 story, because it does have most of the main story beats, so you're getting the same essential story in this version of Final Fantasy 15 that people that played the Final Fantasy 15 proper. Um, it cuts out a lot of the open world stuff, and there is a little bit of that, but it pares it down to basically only giving you the things that you absolutely need to further the story. All of the combat stuff is still there, so you're still doing a lot of the different types of combat with like the warping and things that the characters in that game do. There are attacks where where multiple characters will pair up together, and do things. Um, you're leveling up your characters, you're doing all of that stuff, but you're getting a sort of Cliff Notes version. It's not even really that. I mean, it's a pared down version of the story, but it makes it so that people who don't have time to play an 80-hour RPG can still play the game
Whether it's
and
from
be
your
able to talk
Switch
about
or
it.
from your smartphone.
Exactly. And the game's available on all the consoles. So it was on Xbox One, it was on PS4, it was on Switch. It came out first on mobile. Um, but I loved it. I absolutely loved every minute of that game.
Who's
Um,
your favorite Chocobro?
uh, I don't know if I could pick one as my favorite.
That's fair.
So the only thing that was odd at first, but I got used to it, was that none of the characters moved their mouths when they talked. In fact, none of them had mouths. So it was weird to be getting this fully voiced, fully acted these cutscenes with character models that don't move their mouths. I love Final Fantasy 15. But it's time to move on now. What is your game of the year?
My game of the year. Now, before I say this, I have not actually played the game.
Then how can it be your game of the year?
I've seen I've seen it played through all the way.
Okay.
This game, the let's play of it was extremely entertaining. I loved everything I saw about it. I went out of my way to go and buy the original series of this game and then got this game.
Okay.
This game is God of War.
That's a good choice.
Very good choice.
So,
So I can't
your
tell you how
game of the
well it
year,
plays, but I can
your
tell
game of the
you that
year
I
is a
like it
game you
enough.
haven't played.
I do have it. I just haven't gotten around to playing it, and I know it's a good game. I've seen it played. People have said it's a good. Well, someone can say it about any game really, but
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize it as a great game to play.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is very good.
So when I do play it, I will probably talk highly about it.
But you will not be able to put it on your list for 2019.
Well, I wasn't going to. I do keep my list. I do keep my list limited to the games based on the release date of the year that they were released. So this would be everything released 2018.
Yeah.
As the rest of my list that I'm not going to list off right now, there are two outliers there, which could be argued on their release dates, but the official release dates in their respected areas are why I can have them on my list.
There you go. There you go. I can't argue with God of War being your game of the year. So
Well,
that is,
if it's any consolation, I do have Red Dead Redemption 2 as well.
but God of War won the game of the year at the VGAs. So
Yeah, it won the Red Dead Redemption 2 award for Game of the Year.
the Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year award goes to God of War. Yes. Uh,
Oh, those
so
jokes during that show were great.
they were very good. All right. So I guess that means it's time for my game of the year.
Tony's number one Game of the Year 2018.
Number one. It is a game that came out in 2018 on the Switch.
Hmm.
It's been available on other platforms for a while now,
Uh-oh.
but it came out in 2018 on the Switch.
Something that came out in 2018 on the Switch that was on other consoles. What is Metal Slug?
No,
Dang
you're
it.
wrong. It is Warframe.
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 Uh, I don't know if people can tell from me talking about this game for weeks now, but I kind of like it.
Why is that?
Like, well, you can go back and listen to like the last 5 podcasts where I talk about Warframe and all of them. It's a fantastic game, like a AAA game level game that is available for $0 and 0 cents.
With a long running history of the devs just making new content like what every month or something on there.
The game gets updated all the time. Um, and they have other stuff that they're working on right now for this game. The Fortuna update, which came out, in the last couple of months for PC and other consoles, is going to be available for Switch soon. And we know that they're working on stuff past that. So
Maybe
it,
we'll see
it's
that skateboarding stuff eventually, and we can throw in some Superman.
there you go. It's been a great game, and Panic Button has done a wonderful job porting the game to the Switch and making sure it works. Like this is a game that could have very easily been broken on the Switch and almost unplayable. And they've done a wonderful job of making this game playable.
You could argue it was kind of broken on launch.
I don't know. I didn't really have much of an issue with it.
Are the arrows still breaking the enemies?
I've heard some people say that that is actually intentional. So
I've never seen it that crazy on the other consoles.
maybe it's not, but some of the things, there have been some weapons that I've used where people have said that is a function of that weapon. It's supposed to do that. Where like
Interesting.
one of the guns that I would use anytime I would shoot an enemy, they would get pinned against the wall. They said that's supposed to happen. I don't know if that's true or not. And if it is, it's a funny little
No,
feature.
they
But
there are some that will, like the arrows should increase the chances of leaving the enemy nailed into the wall.
yeah,
I'm mostly interested in the enemy going ragdoll crazy.
yeah. So I haven't really used the bow much since those early days. I've more or less found a couple guns that I really like that I use over and over again.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, for a free to play game, this game has no business being as good as it is for not costing anything. But it's a wonderful game. Like I love it.
I certainly do
So
enjoy playing it as well.
so it is very very good. And we do have a couple of people who sent us their lists, members of the Facebook group, who sent us their top 10 lists, and I thought I'd go over those really quickly for them
Cool.
as well. Our first one comes from Lang, and his number 10 was Dragalia Lost. He said Nintendo got him playing on his phone.
You know, that's fair. Nintendo releasing a mobile game like
Yeah.
in a RPG. That was an RPG sort of game, wasn't it? Like classic
Yes.
style or not?
Yes. It is a sort of classic style RPG.
Yes. Like I would probably want to play it, but at the same time, I try not to play too many mobile games on my phone because I'm just
Hmm.
weird like that.
I tried to play Dragalia Lost and I just couldn't get into it.
See, I'm wondering if I would be someone who would love that game or not.
Like considering how many RPGs I play, you'd think I would love a Nintendo developed RPG, but I don't know what it was. It wasn't a game that hooked me at all in any way. I just after a couple hours I was done and I was ready to stop playing.
Hmm.
The only one of Nintendo's mobile games that have got me playing for any length of time is Fire Emblem. And that game just works perfectly on mobile.
Interesting.
So, number 9 from Lang is Valhalla. This is one that I don't recognize.
That I think is a sequel or prequel to another game that had a similar naming aspect with the letters and numbers.
Yeah, I remember some like side-scrolling type game with robots that had a naming system like that, and I don't remember if that's the same for like the same series or not. But
It should be if it looks like the same sort of name.
I don't. I can't remember what it was called.
It's bugging me because I thought I had it on Steam and I don't. So,
So,
uh,
his
oh,
his
sorry.
num his number 8 is Deltarune, and he just
That's
said it's more Undertale with one of my favorite composers, Laura Shigihara.
I need to finish that. I'm pretty close to the end on that. It's a great game.
His number 7 is Kirby Star Allies. First game he said he and his nephew beat together.
Kirby, Kirby, Kirby.
He's the star of the show. Number 6 for him was Detroit, David Cage's wild ride that actually was a wild ride. You like that? Number 5, let's get into his top 5, was Smash Ultimate. He just said it's Smash.
That is, that's fair.
Number 4 for him was Yakuza. He didn't specify which one. Probably 6 or
Well, there's like 5 of them that came out this year.
Kiwami 2. He just said 2 words: club, cabaret. Oh, and machismo, manly shirt tearing fisticuffs.
Yeah, that's Yakuza. That's how you sum it all up. 2 words right there.
So if I had played a Yakuza game this year, I would almost guarantee that that would be in my list, but I have not played any of the ones that came out this year. Number 3 was God of War for him. He just said boy.
It's the it's the video game awards all over again.
His number 2, Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter, but it's pretty and won't give me arthritis.
Oh yeah, I heard that game came out this year.
It did. It did. And then his number 1 is R2D2. Dang it, that's not right. Red Red Dead Redemption 2. Every time I see that abbreviated, I think you've mentioned this as well, it looks like it says R2D2.
Yes. So
You're
I thought
not the only one that does that.
yeah, for a second there, I thought you were just trying to, kind of rile me up on that for a moment.
No, because I totally get that. It does look like R2D2, but Red Dead Redemption 2. He said, I love, love, love the Wild West. At the same time, I very much dislike open world games. Cinematic camera is the best thing to happen to the open world design.
Good
So
old
I
cinematic camera.
have not played Red Dead, so could not tell you anything about this game. So there you go. His game of the year, unlike the Game Awards, Red Dead Redemption 2. And then Brandon from the Facebook group also gave us his top 10. He didn't give us any explanations to go along with these, so we'll just kind of go through them. Number 10 for him was Detroit Become Human.
People really like that Detroit game.
Number 9, Monster Hunter World.
I hear it's a great game.
Number 8, Cube 2.
I have not played that one. I've only played the
I have,
first one.
I have not either.
It's kind of it's kind of like a complex puzzle game, really.
Mm.
Think like Advance Portal
Okay.
without the portals.
Well, then that's not a game.
You're using like a glove to control cubes and stuff. It's weird.
Okay. Number 7, Shadow of the Colossus.
That, yeah, there was a version of that came out this year, wasn't there?
Number 6, Forza Horizon 4.
Good game. Shannon would be proud.
He and Shannon would get along. Number 5, Celeste.
Celeste is an interesting indie choice of a game that kind of overshadowed another game that came out the same time, really.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it. Oh, jeez, I can't think what it's called.
I
Oh,
don't know.
well, I had it for a second there. I can't think what it is.
Hollow Knight. I have no idea. uh, his number 4, Red Dead Redemption 2.
RDR2, got it.
Number 3, Trails of Cold Steel 2. Another title I don't recognize.
Is that related
Trail. Did I say Trails or Trials?
said Trails.
Okay, Trails of Cold Steel 2.
I'm wondering if that's related to the Trials of whatever series. I can't think.
I
Trials of
don't
the
know.
Sky?
I don't know. It's not one I'm familiar with. So,
I've heard about it. I just can't place where it's at.
and then he put 2 games in his number 2 slot: Yakuza 6 and Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Using the Micah excuse there, although I'm sure Micah would just put them in two
Michael
different
would just
slots anyway.
That's probably true. He just put Yakuza in all 10 spots if he could. And then Brandon's game of the year was Spider-Man.
Good game.
And then he put in some honorable mentions as well: Fortnite, Seasons 3 through 6, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So, there you go. That is a look back at our favorite games of 2018. Any last things you want to say about any of these games before we're done?
There's I'm seeing a lot of similarities between most of the list, other than mine and yours.
Yeah. Mine's a little bit different from everybody else's. So, very Switch heavy, my list is. I think in my top 10, I only have one PS4 game, and that is Spyro. But you'll be able to see that in the full top 10 list that I post on the site later this week. So, but having said that, I guess we are done for the week. This is also the last show of 2018.
Or the first show of 2019, depending
Or
on...
the first show of the 2019. Yes, exactly. So, thank you, Ethan, for being on the show. 2018 has been a good year. I'm looking forward to what 2019 has to offer.
I don't know. It'll probably be more procedurally generated, though.
It's true. Very true.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Next week, we will do our predictions for 2019. If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.